What's poppin', y'all? I might have been wrong about Drake in regards to this rollout because a couple of months ago when Iceman was first about to drop and we got the announcement of the release date of May 15th, I wasn't too happy with the lead up to it. And this being live streaming being such a dominant part of pop culture right now, and all of the trends, all of the clips, this is great promotion so far. But one thing I didn't like was how quickly this happened, because within what felt like 24 hours, especially after laying all this ice, it was over. I wanted this to be 3 to 5 to 6 days of like, yo, these guys, they're torching it now. They're setting fire to it. Some people went home. Some people stayed overnight. I want a 24/7 camera on this thing, even though like people were streaming, like things like that. That's what I wanted to see. But the 24 hours, this happening? Did he script this? I don't know. Did he tell the guy like, yo, this is exactly where it's at. Go get it because I don't want this to last for more than 24 hours. And we got the announcement for the release date being May 15th. Well, why give us the release date? Now I feel like anything that happens between May 15th or up until May 15th and now, which is 3+ weeks, there isn't much anticipation for. We know when it's going to drop now. So whatever you do is like, yeah, new music, but it just goes back to new music, not so much the spectacle that's going to lead us into the new music. So nearly 2 years that the planning for this project and this rollout for this album has been happening, which has me excited for what's to come. But one thing that I do want to see from Drake, because like I said, from now until May 15th, there's nothing going to be as exciting as the release date. That's it, bar none. Unless I'm proven wrong, and I will be honest. If something excites me more than that, I'll be honest and say it, but I don't think it will. However, I'm interested to see what Drake has planned for the post rollout, because now I think post rollout and keeping people caring about the music is far more important than the lead up to the music, especially if you're an artist not as big as Drake. If you're an artist as big as Drake, we're already going to be combing through the lyrics. Your haters, Kendrick stans as well, they're going to be combing through the lyrics, seeing if there's any disses back and forth. And Drake is such a good lyricist and also works with such great writers and is able to collaborate in a way that there's so many bars that you missed in first listen. But I refuse to believe that just this ice sculpture, right? Like just is all that there is to this rollout. So this was just after the whole ice block thing. And obviously it took a lot of effort to put that together, a lot of planning. I think it was cool. It was for the city. A lot of things were being done in loyalty to the city of Toronto, Canada. And, you get a streamer involved too, who isn't that big of a streamer. You help him out. It looks good, but I felt like Iceman needed to be more grand. However, the post rollout has seemed to be a lot better than the rollout in anticipation of the album. And I think this is even better because earlier this year, I had talked about how the first week sales is such a meaningless number right now because it's not indicative of what albums will stay relevant, will stay within the conversation, and will have longevity for the rest of the year. Like for instance, Don Toliver's Octane, do we really care what it sold first week? I can tell you who it sold less than. It definitely sold less than J. Cole. However, Octane released far before J. Cole's album, The Fall Off, and The Fall Off has quickly fallen off the charts because who's really even talking about it? But The Fall Off had such a great first week push for getting the numbers and those type of accolades, but it hasn't lasted beyond that. And the first person that I've seen that did this is Wale. And he dropped his album, Everything Is a Lot, which was the first album in a very long time. And I saw this tweet the other day from this Hip Hop All Day page, which dropped some good numbers. It says, Wale's Everything Is a Lot has quietly went on to be one of the most successful rap albums released in 2025. Top 15 highest selling rap album by total units, 200K total units, 300 million streams globally, which I'm like, where are these streams coming from and what are they counting as streams? Are they counting YouTube views as streams? Are they counting TikTok views as streams? Because I don't think it's even at 100 million from what I've seen, which 100 million in itself would be good. So I'm interested in that. Top 20 debut. I think this is, if I had to guess, might be a promotional post, which only supports what I'm saying even more, which is Wale didn't do the most for the drop for this, but Wale's fans, which is the most important part, like you need to engage your core fans that are really going to ride out for you, and they need to love the album for it to spread. So with Wale's core fans, they're constantly having talks, arguments about where this ranks in top 3 Wale albums. Some people think it's Wale's best album. So many people are ranking it in the top 3. And that is very hard because Wale's got some, especially if you can add mixtapes, he's got some really good projects. And a lot of people are even arguing, like, for example, in the replies, you see this is better than anything that the big 3 members have dropped post beef, by the way. I don't know if this is holding up to Iceman, but if someone's like, yeah, you know, like I prefer this to Iceman, I'm like, okay, I understand. It's not something I would scoff at. And the replies are very important to this as well. Like you see a bunch of people replying. It's not just Wale fans, obviously. It's people that have listened to this, and many people are calling it their favorite album. And Wale has been putting such a push to support this album after the album released. And a lot of rappers, people, they're just dropping albums, and if it doesn't do well off the bat, they kind of give up on it. I haven't looked back into Sway Lee after he dropped his, so I can't say if he gave up on it yet, but it seems to me that's the case. Like I haven't tapped in too much, so I'm not going to put that verdict out there that he gave up after seeing the first week of his album drop, which is the first album in years. And then after Wale, of course, Drake, who's really tapped in as well, he has done a ton. And for example, the CN Tower, which was part of the Iceman rollout, post rollout, that thing was allegedly like 1.5 million or who knows how much, because it said on this tweet right here in this news report.
We're here on the roof where these projectors have just iced out the CN Tower for Drake's new album, Iceman. But you're probably wondering, how did they pull this off?
Projections are live.
They're using 75 projectors, which alone costs $15 million. And the CBC roof is just one location where these are set up. The other 2 are at ground level around the CN Tower. And this all started just 3 weeks ago when Toronto's Anil Mohabir got a call from Drake's team, also known as Dream Crew. He's done some of these marketing stunts for Drake in the past. Remember this? Yeah, that was him too.
So Dream Crew calls, they had this vision from Drake and they were like, is this even possible? And I, kind of immediately always wanted to say yes. But I'm like, okay, give me a little bit of time. And we kind of came back and I was like, hey, I got a crazy idea. Like, I think we should do the CN Tower. And they were like, yes. And from then on, we jumped right into testing. We had about 3 weeks.
And this project, clearly, was no easy feat. 40 of these projectors were from Canada, but the rest, they had to be shipped from Germany. And some of these projectors needed such special lenses, they were sourced from Dubai. Not only did he figure out how to project this design, but he also helped create it.
We had almost over 300 people touch just this project alone. I like to tell everyone, they've seen a 4K TV before. This one is basically a 13K on each side of the CN Tower.
Oh my goodness.
Now, in terms of the design, it's a blue and white animation that makes it look like the structure has been iced out. And the CN Tower, they're in on it. They shut down the tower, and this team has control of the lights as part of its production. And for Mohabir, this is more than just a stunt in the city he grew up in.
We're just a bunch of kids from Toronto that kind of had crazy ideas and crazy dreams, and kind of through the conduit of Drake, we're given the opportunity to execute at a really high level. So everything we're doing is surreal and almost unbelievable that we did it.
So this was a ton of money that was being spent on this. Also, academics would talk about Drake putting money out of his own pocket to promote this album.
Howard, well, first of all, I land on the jet. People are like, man, we've heard the story before. No, you haven't heard this part. I land on the jet, you feel me? I'm like, all right, everybody scramble to get their passports. We never see nobody. We hop in the SUVs. My homie got us 10 rooms at the Four Seasons, taking care of everybody. Security on security on security. Then he's like, Ak, what time could you get here? He didn't say he have a time crunch, but he was shooting other videos. I think he shot some other video after. So, all right, bet. We get in the car. By the way, we were being driven around. I don't know if the guy was maybe capping. He's like, I'm Drake's butler. I was like, yo, I need a butler. I need a Drake's actual butler. So I'm guessing, you ever seen Drake in one of them joints where it's like, yo, he just snaps and they just bring him that little drink he drinks? His butler was driving. I was like, what the this is lit. It's kind of fire. Anyway, we drive underneath. We go to the CN Tower. They got some special entrance. We go there, meet with his guy. Keeping names out of this just because. The whole production going on there is like, yo, we took over the CN Tower. We got it for a few days. It's crazy. It's lit. Production on production on production. I'm chopping it up because I see some familiar faces, whatever. It's all right, we're going to bring you to meet the boy. Production, I guess, production's always up production. Be like, oh, no, I think we might have a room set up for act. Yo, my guy he's like Drake right hand. You probably know who this is. He's like, no, we're bringing him to the boy now. Because I guess they were going to have me go to a green room or something. It's all right. So we get on this elevator, feels like about 300 floors in the sky. And they're like, yo, whatever. And he's like, yo, let me bring you to the boy. We go on this roof of the CN Tower. I didn't even know if he had a roof. And, do an embrace, dap it up. Like, damn, first time we met. What's up? And within a few minutes of talking, he said, yo, Ak. Because I'm like, yo, this is some crazy you're doing. And he says, Ak, I'm in the hole myself, all out of pocket. I've been shooting for 4 months, nonstop. I respected it. Everything out of pocket. Everything you saw, ain't no Republic. Well, I don't even want to give a ballpark, but it's disgusting money. Like, he spent a normal lit artist record deal on a rollout, and I respect it because he's a millionaire now. He should do that. And I respect a man that put his money where his mouth is. When he told me how much millions he spent, it was clearly obvious how much millions he spent himself. That's what I'm like, yo, I'm keeping this secret until the motherfucker released it. I ain't up. And I'm very glad it happened. All right. I'll if you guys are in...
And keep in mind, this is supposed to be Drake's last album on the record label. He's supposed to be a free man after this, independent, which is a dangerous place to be in because like an Offset who just had his last album and it flopped, like a Kid Cudi who had his last album on his record label and it did like pitiful numbers. Same thing with YoungBoy. YoungBoy didn't do pitiful numbers because his fan base is just far more active in a first week basis as well. But they're not going to put a bunch of promotion money in order to raise your stock for you to have negotiating leverage over them. So Drake, knowing this, he throws his own money behind it. And if he's throwing money behind it, and then they see that this is getting motion, obviously it's going to get motion because it's Drake, then they're going to put some push behind it too because they own the product. Or they have partnership, half ownership, whatever. They have equity in the product. And Drake's back catalog too, which people are constantly going back to. So all of this is like, yo, I got to put some respect on it. And then Rap TV estimates that his rollout would cost over $3 million. Some people, academics were saying it's like 15 plus million. And I'm inclined to believe that. I think the 3.7 million figure that Rap TV put out was a couple of days after the drop. But just think about it. He flew out academics in a private jet, I think. That whole academics experience that he put him through and his team through, that was already at least $150,000 to $200,000. And then all the other things involved, including filming. And this is another thing that I really liked. He's filmed a music video for damn near every song on this thing. We're getting a ton of music videos, which is another post rollout thing. Like he's like, yo, I'm constantly giving you guys new content that's all encapsulated in this world of Iceman and Habibti and Maid of Honor. But then, of course, this is all after the album has dropped. He does that Nike ad with KD where he takes some shots at LeBron.
Yo, you want to see the new shoes? Come on, obviously. Check these out. Okay. Wow. First thought, transcending the game. It's like you need a banjo for those. Those are crazy. This guy went home on the range with it. Wow. You're in 2038 with those. These are, jeez. Come on, bro. It's a joke. I can't hoop in these.
Nah, obviously. I know that.
This is the real thing.
Wow. This guy's the abominable snowman. Those are hard. This guy's trying to dominate the Alaskan market. You got to keep the ankles warm. Ying, 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 ying. I see the jumper. It's great. Those are crazy.
Yo, what's wrong with you, bro? You think I would wear these? Are you even a real friend, bro?
I thought you were taking it somewhere else, like on some fashion.
Are you a yes man, bro?
What? No, no, I'm supporting my brother, obviously. If you're going there, I'm going with you.
I'm gonna stop playing on it. These are it. These candies.
The candies?
These the ones.
Jeez, the candies! The candy man's home.
ow, oh wait, did I just get a cavity? Someone called a dentist. Like, oh my goodness, bro. You know how many people are gonna be copying this off the shelves? They're gonna be like, shh, give me that. Like, are you dumb? Are you stupid or are you dumb? Which one? Like, these are fire flames. Like, I need these. Asa, what other colors? What other colors? Tell me. Yo.
And the first day, the reviews of Iceman were not, I wouldn't say they weren't too hot. They weren't cold, they weren't hot, but a lot of people had criticisms, including some people that were Drake fans. And he would post the reviews the day that he dropped Take Care. And you can read this, man. I used to love the comment sections of like My Mixtapes, Hot New Hip Hop, all of these like blogs or platforms back in the early 2010s. And you see, it says, I agree with the review. Drake lost some respect with this one. In my own opinion, he should head back, dated the release date and done a better CD. Too much singing for me. I'm obviously a gangster, so don't F around. This is a good one. And then people saying Carter 4 is easy, better than this trash. But of course, that's a Wheezy flex, and that's a Wheezy fan. You can't take that seriously. And then somebody says, I think his album was weak, repetitive, boring at times. Keep in mind, looking back at it right now, many people have criticized Drake albums post reviews, or hell, post Take Care as, yo, this ain't as good as Take Care. And many people hail Take Care as his best album. And he's showing everybody, hey, the day that this dropped, they weren't messing with it, which is another point to why the music should constantly be pushed, especially if you believe in it, which Drake does. And not only does he believe in it, he believes in the power of the smaller fans and not these major big publications. Like, he hasn't been submitting his music to the Grammys, but he would pull up on these influencers, this guy that drives around his family and they just sing Drake lyrics while he's in his whip. And he would post up and say, finally made it to see the family. NY Flava. Picked our goat up from school. And a new Escalade for the gang members, because why not? Ice Block. So they're singing Janice STFU, which is a hit right now. And this is the guy's reaction to Drake gifting him an Escalade.
Straight from the 6 to the 716! This man needs no introduction! The Iceman himself! It's legendary! Come on! Uh-oh! Come on! Listen! Come on, hit it! Hey! Come on! Come on, hit it, girl!
Just like some green tea, baby.
Hey, come on, you gotta rip this one. Come on.
Someone come pick me up.
Hey.
If I call her, she's shorty right now.
Okay, she picking up. Hey.
Y'all think on my name?
And what?
That's picking up.
Hey.
Come
on. Hey, okay.
They see the truth for section for you and mine is gonna stream while you watching HD.
Oh.
They say they call up and taking a check. Yours is dropping the same night as me. Funny thing is that they ain't gonna compete. You gon' get yours while I'm doing me. You gon' get yours while I'm doing me. Hey, Janice.
Shut the fuck up.
So Drake, the biggest artist, or the biggest rapper, for sure, in the world, he is pulling up on just people that are popular online. Like, this guy isn't a publication. This guy doesn't have some institutional power, but he does affect a cultural narrative, or is one piece of many. And Drake would try to touch down on all of these pieces, because he would also pull up to do this Houston food review.
Lost in the sauce, where you coming from?
Came all the way from Toronto, Canada, the 6, but I also live in Brenham, Texas, so I'm repping both at the same time.
To tap in.
Yeah, tap in for sure.
Thank you.
Love. I gotta try something though. I gotta try the fries. Loaded fries. Loaded fries. I came to you, by the way. Fire. This is slider. Fire, Hawaiian bun, grape.
Tapped in. Thank you.
Tapped in.
So he loves Houston, but Drake is touching the little man. And this is the problem, and why I think people like a Jay-Z, people like a Charlemagne, and others are just ancient. And I think he may have learned this from Drake, but this just goes to show why Drake is so much smarter. And people like Jay-Z think there are narratives against Rock Nation and like, why does everybody love Tory? Well, it's easy to like somebody like a Tory, like a Drake, when they're tapping in with you. Like Drake, he doesn't feel like I'm too big and I'm just trying to push this narrative on these mainstream publications and then everybody's just going to buy into that. It's actually more of like a bottom up thing going on right now. Like Complex is forced to talk about streamers now. When meanwhile I, who am a C tier, I've been saying this for 2, maybe even 3 years, where I said rappers are done, streamers are going to take over as the dominant like cultural force for youth. Drake knows this. So Drake, what does he do? He taps in with every like new form of media. So he's tapping in with all of these small people, quote unquote, right? Like they're not mainstream and they're all going to like Drake even more. So they get rewarded for being fans of Drake. Meanwhile, if you're a Jay-Z fan, you could be Jay-Z's biggest fan. He's not pulling up on you and doing a stream with you. He's not pulling up on you and doing a cameo with you. That's not happening. He's like, yeah, of course. They better kiss the ring. This is Jigga. This is Hove. And then when it's time to do a rollout, they do the mainstream stuff and everybody's like, yo, this is whack. We're not falling for this anymore. So Drake is doing an excellent job with the Iceman rollout, and he's working harder than ever. I think he's also filming another music video with Stunna Sandy, which I do think is her name Stunna Sandy? It's something Sandy. The look-alike, and really it's basically like she is the icy narco to Lil Pump for Ice Spice. Stunna Sandy is to Ice Spice what Icy Narco was to Lil Pump. Let's just keep it a buck here. So he's filming that music video. I don't know if that dropped yet, but all of these things are being done to continuously push the product, which I love seeing this. And I just had to address that with the limited information I had at the time. I thought Drake was just going to drop this and let it rock out instead of continuously working to push it. But he's been doing nothing but that. And it's been well over a month. Iceman is still killing it. These tracks are still doing well. People are constantly listening. This is the topic of conversation, music-wise, for the most part. Obviously, like, there are other songs coming up, like the Rubbers, Phoenix Flexin', which I love that song. You're not going to get me to stop loving that song, okay? So stop trying. But overall, I think this is great. I think this is great for Wale. I think this is great for Drake. And I think we need to see more of this. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.